Rev your engines and fasten your seatbelts. It's time for Thunder Talk with Dan Bailey, keeping you up to date on everything going on this season at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Thunder Talk is powered by Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Now, here's your host, Dan Bailey.
Hey, race fans, welcome to another edition of Thunder Talk on the WINONA Sports Network 99.3 and streaming live at WINONARadio.com. I'm Dan Bailey. Hey, I want to remind you folks listening via the radio broadcast that if you go to YouTube and do a simple search for Thunder Talk with Dan Bailey, you can find the entire extended interview that you are about to hear. As a matter of fact, that leads me into the introduction of our guest, director of the Grand National Hooligan Championship Series himself, JeremyDeRuyter. Jeremy, first of all, welcome to Thunder Talk. Thanks for joining us this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dan. I appreciate you having me on.
Grand National Hooligan Championship Series. You guys were at Mississippi Thunder Speedway 4 or 5 years ago. For 2023, you guys are making a return trip to the Big Third Mile as part of the program, which is being dubbed the Inaugural Rampage By The River. First things first, give me your thoughts. Look back several years about what you remember from being at Mississippi Thunder Speedway and maybe what you're looking forward to coming back this Saturday.
Yeah, we're really excited to be coming back. I know this is one of the favorite tracks for most of the riders. You know, it's high speed, high banks, beautiful facility, and, promoters always do a fantastic job putting this one on. So we're really excited to be coming back. Like you said, I think it's been, 4 or 5 years roughly since we were there. I know the first year they had it and they ran it was right after the race cars and had a groove from top to bottom, and the guys loved it because you could ride everywhere. And the following year, that was still really racy, and the guys loved racing there.
So folks who normally visit Mississippi Thunder Speedway are familiar with stock car racing. So let's kind of reintroduce GNHC to any of the listeners. Tell us, what is a hooligan? What can fans expect to see when they come to the track on Saturday?
Yeah, so what a hooligan is basically is, they start their life as a street bike. So a licensed street bike right off the dealership showroom. What we do is we end up taking them and kind of converting them over into a flat track bike. Realistically, limitations, we don't have a lot, to be honest. They have to be 650 cc or above, twin cylinder, triple, 4-cylinder, whatever you want to have. But they do have to be a minimum of 649 cc. And from there, you can really do whatever you want. You can do unlimited engine modifications, unlimited cc sizes. Really, the only rules we have is you have to keep your swing arm pivot in the stock location, keep your top shock mount in stock location. You're not able to physically alter the steering head geometry of it, and that's more for a safety reason. And then 2 years ago, because of the different brands that we have involved now, we ended up putting in a weight rule. So it's a minimum weight of 370 pounds and a wheelbase length of 56 inches. And really what that did was there was some brands like KTM came in, and they were quite a bit lighter than most of them you're going to see out there is the Harley-Davidson Sportsters. Man, they had quite a bit of an advantage because they were about 80 pounds lighter than the rest of the bikes, and they could shorten them up, which helped the handling, helped improve traction. So we put those in place, and it really brought the field back to a pretty level playing field.
I know that when I was younger, and I heard about hooligan racing, it was out west, and it was on some of the speedway tracks. Folks from out west would literally just bring their big old hogs out, still had the fairings on, and that's kind of how they got titled hooligans. But this is a far cry from those days. It really has become, I'll use the term, a bit more sophisticated and much more race-like. It's almost like hooligan is a misnomer because that might make people think that you're just out there goofing around. I mean, these are really intense racers who are really giving it 110%.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, Roland Sands, most people know him with Performance Machine and all the awesome builds that he's done over the years. He was kind of the originator, like you said, out in California, I believe Paris, California, where it really started off with some guys pulling their street bikes out of the parking lot and going out and racing it. And, as you know, like any racing, it evolves and progresses and people get more and more competitive. So, yeah, we're a far cry from, the original hooligan guys. Pretty much a full-blown race bike now with, changing the wheels to 19-inch flat track wheels, putting high-quality suspension, Öhlins, Russell Wernemont Designs makes some fantastic shocks, and adding all the, the adjustable components, the adjustable triple clamps, the adjustable shocks, putting all the, different gas tanks and fenders and seats and I mean, really customizing it to basically a full-blown race bike. And it really shows, like, how much work and effort the guys have put into these things to make them a race bike now compared to what they started off with, because we go to, some of the American flat track races, and our fast qualifiers would qualify between 8th and 10th in the Super Twins class at times. So we're not far off of what the $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 motorcycles are doing with our street bikes.
You bring up an important point here, and that is the fact that the rest of the quote-unquote professional motorcycle racing community has taken a notice of the GNHC. You guys have been part of X Games, as you mentioned. You guys are almost a regular at a lot of the AFT shows, which is the premier level of dirt/flat track racing. That's got to make you feel, maybe a bit proud that the work that you have put into this series is really showing its results.
Yeah, it's been a lot of hard work from a lot of quality people that helped me out with this. I kind of headed up and started it with a good friend of mine 6 years ago. And really, we started it just kind of for something to do, to be honest, at a lot of local racetracks in Wisconsin. And from there, we progressed and started building up in the Midwest more and more. And last year, we made a huge step with the series and branched off into a Southern Division, an Eastern Division, and we had the Midwest. And then at the end of the season, we kind of came together to do a winner-take-all weekend and see who the best Hooligan racer was. And then going into 2023, we added a West Coast division. And, that's really blowing up out there. I think we have already 60 riders entered for a lot of the races out on the West Coast. So, we started off as just a couple buddies kind of doing our own thing. And I think now we're well over 200 entries since our inception.
If you think about the motocross world, sometimes regional racing is considered almost a feeder series to potential future pro involvement. Have there been any feelings or any discussions that GNHC is beginning to be felt as a feeder series for these premier programs, such as American Flat Track, whether it's their singles or their Super Twins program?
I think a little bit. Right now, I would say we mainly get made up of a lot of ex-pros like myself, who are maybe getting a little bit long in the tooth and can't do the pro series anymore, or maybe we just, as we get older, we have more responsibilities and can't travel as much as what we would like to do those things. But there is a lot more younger folks that are taking interest in it and taking notice of it. And I do have a few things in discussions with some companies to possibly add maybe a junior series in the future and kind of help build them up and progress towards that professional goal that a lot of these up-and-coming riders have.
You brought up another important point. You're not only the director of the Grand National Hooligan Championship Series, you are a competitor. You are a racer at heart. So tell us a little bit about your experience on two wheels through the years.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for a long time. I'm 43 now, and started when I was 4 years old, worked my way up through the amateur ranks and won a few amateur national championships. And from there, we went and, I went and did the pro series and traveled around the country doing that for a while and had a little bit of success, not a ton, but I was always kind of on the underfunded, under-budget teams. But we did the best we could with, what we had available to us as our team and for the teams that I had rode for as well. And then I had a bad accident in 2008. And destroyed my leg, and so that thought my career was over. But then, of course, the Hooligan thing came around, and my buddies talked me into coming and trying one. And as I was doing the professional stuff, I raced the 883 Sportster Series back in the day when that was going on. That was a whole different animal back then. I promised myself I would never race one again. And now with all the improvements that have been made with components over the years, they're actually really fun to ride and they handle really well.
What other sort of bikes have you seen join in the fun in the GNHC series?
Since we dropped the CC limit down to 649 from 750, it opened it up to a lot of different brands. So now we have some Royal Enfields racing with us, Kawasaki's with their EX650, Yamaha with their FG07, the KTM 792. We have some Triumph Bonnevilles out there. So it's really expanded in the last few years. There's a lot more brands getting involved, which is great because it brings a lot more industry attention to it. It gets more dealers involved with it. It kind of creates a little bit of rivalry for not only the riders, but the fans themselves too. When guys come to the races to watch and they see, all these different brands out there, it kind of gives them somebody to cheer for if they ride a Triumph and that's what they rode to the racetrack. Kind of gives them somebody to cheer for because they're on, possibly the same motorcycle.
So this is round one this Saturday, the 13th at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. The inaugural Rampage by the River is going to be round one for the Midwest division of the Grand National Hooligan Championship Series. Where does the rest of 2023 take you?
Yeah, Dan, so like you said, we kick off round one this weekend at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Next weekend we'll be at Sycamore Speedway in Maple Park, Illinois. From there, July 7th, we go down to Lee County Speedway for a fair race. I've heard great things out of that facility. And then from there, we'll go on to Walworth County Fairgrounds in Wisconsin. And then we will be at Peoria Speedway after that for the Joe Baggett Memorial. And we also have GSR Cartway, I-70 Speedway, then we go to the Flying Dutchman over in New Ulm, Minnesota.
Well, Jeremy, I appreciate you taking some time to chat with us this week. I know that everybody is excited to see the bikes on the Big Third Mile at Mississippi Thunder Speedway as part of the inaugural Rampage by the River. Jeremy, if folks want to find some more information about the Grand National Hooligan Championship Series, where can they point their favorite internet browser?
Yeah, they can go to our website, which is www.GNHCracing.com. You can check out our rules package, our schedules, some pictures, and other information regarding the series. And you can also check out our social media on Instagram, which is GNHC Racing, and you can also check us out on Facebook, which is the Grand National Hooligan Series.
JeremyDeRuyter, director of the Grand National Hooligan Championship Series, the premier series that will be joining District 23 Pro-Am and District 16 Pro-Am racers at Mississippi Thunder Speedway this Saturday. Heats are scheduled for a 5 o'clock start with the mains to follow, probably right around 7:30. Hope to see you there. Jeremy, again, thank you very much for being a part of Thunder Talk this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. We really hope to see all the fans come out this Saturday night, support the awesome event, and make sure you come and stop down in the pit and say hi to us, check out our equipment, and hopefully everybody has a good time.
That was Thunder Talk, keeping you up to date on everything going on at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Thunder Talk is powered by Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram.
You ever notice that when you're on a fishing trip, you drive your boat all the way to the other side of the lake because you think that's where the best fishing is? And the people staying at the cabins on that side of the lake, well, they come and fish where your cabin is. You don't have to drive a long ways to catch the big fish. And at Arcadia Motors, you don't have to drive a long ways to get the best deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram truck. The best deals are right in the bay next to your cabin. Take the short, scenic drive to Arcadia Motors. ArcadiaDodge.com.